What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. This is the 2015 World Championship qualifier for North America. This is your round 10 feature match. So Tellar Knights versus Necroz. David Keener 3 versus Raymond U. And looks like Raymond went first, set 4. It's not a bad play for for Tellar Knights. You wish you had Deneb, obviously. David tried to play Kaleidoscope. That's met with Vanities. Looks like the card in his hand is Vega. Yeah, I could understand why he didn't want to commit that to the board. It's relatively weak. Even in defense mode, you don't feel great about it. Now, luckily for him, David Keener doesn't have anything that he can play. I mean, I guess he could brio for a Shurit and just kind of try and stall with it, but doesn't have any plays, actually. Like, he doesn't have any monsters he can really, like, do any work with. You wouldn't summon Shurit and dare attack. I think Shurit has 0 attack, to be honest. If he has attack, it's low. It's like, I'm sensing it's like 200 or less. I feel like it could be like 100 or something like that. Shurit's attack is insanely low. I know usually people put it in defense mode, 1800 defense. Drew Book of Moon, he may not even set that because he probably wants the potential of drawing a Rhoda. He does set it. Okay. I thought maybe he might want to get a Rhoda. I think what'll happen is, if David draws like a Manju or a Senju, I think you'll see Raymond commit that Vega to the board in defense mode. I think that's the only way he'll commit it outside of turning off his own, Vanity's emptiness. I don't see him committing Vega to the board unless his opponent puts a 1400 beater on board and starts trying to poke at him. I don't think that there's a reason to put the Vega on board. I mean, he could commit to it, but I just don't think it would be wise. Like, actually, he could have done 2400. Well, he could have did 1200 last turn and potentially another 1200. You see the search for Shurit. And I think that he's probably just going to do what I was talking about. Just put the Shurit in defense mode. Wall up, maybe. After getting Kaleidoscope. Nope. Not committing to Shurit. At least not yet. Probably thinking about just setting that Forbidden Lance. And you just think about how much better this play would have been if he would have opened with Deneb. I think that's a Regeki he drew off the top. That's not gonna cause any more plays than he had before. So right now, just pass action as we see a Vanities that's pretty much locked down the game. I'm not a fan of Vanities and Tellar Knights, to be honest. That's just me. But it's working right now. Alright, so we see a Jin release of Rituals. What is Jin's attack? I might have to buzz out the trade binder and see if I have one. He may be thinking that that's good backed by a Forbidden Lance. I'm sensing 800. Yeah, I'm sensing, I guess I'll know when it attacks because I'll just look at his life points, but oh no, it's 1200. Okay. So yeah, Jin is not bad here. Having Regeki, and there you go. There's that Vega put in defense mode. And now you'll probably see Jin put in defense mode as well. Making the Forbidden Lance not really that great. Doesn't really work if you have a monster in defense mode. Is that a reinforce? Nope, Upstart Goblin. Okay, you see an Upstart Goblin played here. So, pretty much all the damage that Jin did was kind of mitigated by the Upstart Goblin. Then you see a reinforcement of the army. I wonder if he plays Bullblader, maybe. There's the Bullblader. A card that can definitely do some work in this situation. Call of the Haunted, Vega. He just needs to get himself a legitimate monster here. And by legitimate monster, I mean like either Unu or Deneb. Those are the legitimate ones here. He'll probably threaten with Bullblader. So you see him try to attack. Maybe a Mirror Force comes out. Phoenix Chain, even better. This way he gets to keep his Vanities. Does not have to worry about that. Alright. Tries to attack with Jin. Should know that that's Vega because everything else would have been summoned. Then again, I guess he doesn't know what he's playing because it still is Swiss. So he'll take some life points. And can't really do much else. Let's see what he drew. Still does not appear to have any monsters and just has to pass it up. See him get that, I think that was a Manju off the top, but once again, he's not going to be able to get over Vega. This is just going to be a duel where it's like completely war of attrition. And the problem is, Raymond Yu I don't know if he'll be able to turn off his own vanities. Like what he ideally would want here is a Rhoda to get to Deneb and make an XC play and to just play defense for the rest of the game. Knowing that he has Regeki as well. Regeki can pretty much get through anything. Now, he does have Forbidden Lance. He could just Lance and attack the Vega, which would... If he lances and attacks the Vega, that would kill the Vega, which would kill the Vanities. Alright, you see him getting a Necroz of Gungnir. Has 2 unicorns in his hand. Has a lot of cards. That was Sinjo. I think I said Manju. I just don't care, honestly. Alright, you see the Forbidden Lance, which is essentially taking out the Vanities. He'll probably commit to the battle phase, use Bullblader's effect. So, Vanities is gonna die, and did he actually take Phoenix Chain off? Phoenix Chain's not dead. I think it's still on the field, though. Vega's gonna die, and so will the Vanity's Emptiness. Having Regeki and Mind Crush in his hands, as well as Call to Haunted, which is not really that good. But now, David Keener can actually start making some plays. You see him activate Brionic. Going for Trishula. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't make Diamond Direwolf first before doing this. And just try and pick apart a back row, maybe. Because the Mind Crushers can be real right now. I mean, a Mind Crusher on a Unicorn, woo, baby. That would just hurt. But let's see if this onslaught that's about to happen. Activates the Necroz cycle. Looking to summon something. You wonder what he has. No Vanities, obviously. Okay, looks like he's just going to let it go. Trishula is summoned. And Trishula will resolve. Vega's gone. Face down's gone. And, okay, too much of a good thing. This is why I don't play Oasis of the Dragon Souls. So he loses Oasis and Call of the Haunted. Yeah, I just don't like Oasis of the Dragon Souls. When you play Oasis and you play Call of the Haunted, you draw them in clumps, and then you don't get the Vega, or excuse me, you don't get the monsters you need, and the shit, you just lose games because of it. That's why I did not, when I played at regionals, I did not play Oasis of the Dragon Souls. Well, it's the second regionals anyway. The first regionals I scrubbed out, I was playing Oasis. I took Oasis out, I did better. Because too many opening hands where you don't get monsters. And Tellar Knights only run, like, you're never going to run more than 12 monsters in your deck ever, so this shit just doesn't work. I'm thinking he might go for Lavalval Chain to stack his deck. But this may be time to go to game 2 if you're Raymond Yu. Even if you get to Deneb, I'm not really sure if you can come back here. Necroz player still has like 5 cards in their hand past the Regeki. And I think he's probably going to get 6 cards if he makes, well, maybe not 6 cards, but he's probably going to stack his deck with like Lavalval Chain. Maybe go for Diamond Direwolf. Yep, that looks like a Diamond Direwolf. Let's see what the judges are saying.
Clear itself out along with another card on the field.
That is Diamond Direwolf. So, making the Regeki even worse, as you now lose cards on field. Ideally, you want it to be able to Regeki everything. Looks like he lost Alpha Nova. And yeah, this is just looking really bad as he has a Mind Crush, a Regeki, at best, maybe one defensive card on the field. Like I said, I don't even know if Deneb really gets him back in the duel. Altair would obviously be terrible here, as he has no graveyard, no monsters anyway. I mean, the Mind Crush, if he Mind Crushes right, I guess that could help, but I still don't really think it helps that much. I think he's going to get Genlock too. Alright, you see him getting, I believe that's Necro's Mirror. Looks like he's going to play it. For the Necroz of Gungnir. Oh wow, and suddenly that Regeki looks way better. I thought that he'd leave Gungnir in his hand just for the protection effect, but he'd opt to summon it. And now that Regeki looks infinitely better. I was like, okay, well, all he has to do is kind of like maybe Genlock him or something like that, but nope. Wonder if he maybe tries to summon the Valkyries. Alright, so let's turn the volume up since the camera guy wants to look at their faces for some reason.
Which is changed to put Gungnir face down. Unicorn discarded to bring back Valkyries. And now Keenan will be safe from attack this turn.
Okay, so he just wanted to get a Valk. Yeah, Regeki just clears everything out. And I think that's Rhoda. Now he's able to get to the Deneb, and suddenly he's back in the game. I really don't understand why he summoned Gungnir. Like, what did that accomplish? I get that basically, I mean, I get that it could pop a card that your opponent could have, but I didn't like that play of Gungnir. Like, I didn't feel like it did a ton for you. I guess it was a defensive card, but I don't know, you already had Valk anyway. He's gonna obviously set the Mind Crush, and it's crazy. He could actually like come back in this duel after getting Trishula and everything. Because whatever his first summon is that he tries, he's clearly, it's not going to happen. He's going to Mind Crush him. He knows that he has Valkyries, so. He has Valkyries in his hand. I believe he has Kaleido Mirror and Unicorn. And if he Kaleido Mirrors, I would blind Mind Crush Unicorn, because you're not going to summon Valkyries off of Kaleido Mirror. Valkyries is 8 stars. Most people don't even play an 8-star card in their extra deck. Like, does anybody even play a Stardust or something like that? Alright, so you see him try to activate. I guess he doesn't have a Unicorn in his hand. I gotta turn this up. They're doing too many dumb camera shots. Alright, so he's going for Colossalus. Just to try and stall right now. After getting Mind Crushed. Hold on, no, there's no need to rewind that. You see Thunder King played to basically shut the game down, to bring it to a screeching halt. And now this could really be in the favor of Raymond Yu, because this is what Tellar Knights want to do. They want to slow the game down so much that they can just get an infinite amount of traps and that you can't fight through their traps. Because the Necroz player will draw dead cards, especially if you have a Ryo out. You see him play Kaleido Mirror. He has a Mirror Force, so he doesn't technically have to be afraid of anything. As Unicorn is summoned, he won't get a search. He'll attack into Mirror Force. There it is. And this is where that Gungnir comes in handy, but he decided to play that on the field for some reason. A Tellar Knight player can draw Ring of Destruction. They can draw Fiendish Chain. They can draw Outsu a Genlock. And with you already using, I believe that is Ring of Destruction during the end phase. Yes, it was. That's Ring of Destruction. And now you see the favor is in the Tellar Knight player. As long as he keeps drawing defensive traps, he'll win this duel. Because the Thunder King Ryo is going to shut down about half of Keener's deck. He already has enough monsters on board, unless he gets something like Bullblader, where he could attack over Deneb and then attack over Ryo in the next turn. But if he has defensive cards, like, it won't matter. You get a Fiendish Chain to kill Bullblader, you get a Mirror Force to kill Bullblader, you get a Bottomless to kill Bullblader. A bunch of different cards can kill Bullblader. That's all you need to know. Or he could have like wow, you see him totally turn around. That is insane. After getting Trishula'd, after having his vanities cracked, everything looked like it was in the favor of David Keener the third, and I don't understand why. I'll never understand why he summoned that Gungnir. I get that it was a defensive card and he could have stopped the play with it, but what were you looking to stop? Your opponent had no graveyard. Like, what was he going to top deck? What was he going to top deck that you were trying to stop? If you would have top decked the Deneb, okay, just attack over it and win. Like, I don't understand why he committed the Gungnir to the field. Tellar Knights is not a deck that is going to explode on you in a turn. It's not Necroz. It's not even Cleaforts. It's not Spirit Beast. So I don't understand why he committed the Gungnir. I feel like when he got Regeki'd, I felt like he lost the duel right there. Because his opponent had the Deneb, which means that he instantly went +1. And then he had the Mind Crush to stop any ritual summon his opponent was going to throw at him. So his next ritual summon attempt was going to be, it wasn't even going to happen, because he was just going to Mind Crush it. And then he drew the Ryo, which brought the game to a screeching halt. And then he just drew decent traps. He drew Mirror Force, okay, your Unicorn is gone. And then he drew Ring of Destruction, okay, your Genlock is gone too. So, you know what I mean? At that point, it's like, all the Tellar Knight player has to do is just keep drawing traps, and most Tellar Knight players run like 20 of those. So, them drawing a Mirror Force is not out of the question. Them drawing an Evac, a D-Prison, a Fiendish Chain, like, that's not out of the question because that's half the deck. So I felt like, David Keener probably should have won that duel, but he punted. And again, I don't think that there was any reason to summon Gungnir. If Gungnir would have been in his hand, he could have used it on the Regeki. He could have kept his Trishula, and he would have just won off of that. There probably wouldn't have been. He probably just would have won off having the Trishula, because the Deneb would have gotten ran over by Trishula. He still would have had a monster. It just would have been a much better position for him. All right, so we're going into game 2. And personally, I still think I like Tellar Knights in this matchup, as long as they're running like half of the deck traps, and as long as you're running Mind Crushes, I like Tellar Knights in the matchup anyway. Not saying Tellar Knights is better than Necroz, it's just when everybody is gunning for you, it makes your matchups against everybody that much like harder, because everyone is main decking stuff for Necroz, but it's not like Necroz, they're not gonna main deck stuff to beat Cleafort. They're not gonna main deck stuff to beat Tellar Knights and Yosenju, you know what I mean? Like, but everybody's main decking stuff to beat them. Looks like Raymond Yu might be forced to go first. I mean, I guess it kind of worked out for him in the last duel. Has Regeki in his hand. The obvious card you want here in their first hand, always in Tellar Knights, is Deneb/Rhoda. Probably Rhoda, because it just thins your deck out. He has a pretty decent hand. It's just going to open with Deneb to get out here. I mean, ideally you'd want like more traps. Has a fire hand. Just sets one card. That might get blown away by a Mystical Space Typhoon. I'm gonna immediately question him siding the hands in against Tellar Knights. I don't like that at all. I like it against Cleafort because they don't really have answers to it, but in general, I don't really like it against this deck. Like, if you attack over Deneb, is there anything stopping him from being like Altier Castel? Like, is there anything that you can do to stop that? Like, Cleafort can't do that, so it's like, and you see him just summon Firehand and pass, and it's like, alright, you killed Deneb, but isn't that what the Tellar Knight player wants? To be honest, I wouldn't even be shocked if he just tried to Trevor him. I'd be perfectly fine going for a Trevor play here. I mean, yeah, just taking a card out of my opponent's hand. He has a Thunder King Ryo, which won't be too effective. Well, no, wait, I'm sorry. He could just Regeki and summon Ryo. And that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna try and do the same thing that he did last game. He's gonna try and slow the pace of the game down to a screeching halt. Yeah, he's trying to bring the speed of the game down. Another fire hand. He attacks. What's that gonna be? Looks like is that a Solemn Warning maybe? It has to be a Solemn Warning if he's flipping it over like that.
Correct. Instead, you wisely waited for Keener to attack his...
Yep, it was a Solemn Warning. Okay, so he now wasted his battle phase, and he wasted his normal summon. And that was a pretty good play there. I don't understand, does Keener not have Mystical Space Typhoon in his hand? Cause it clearly says here he has Mystical Space Typhoon. I'm trying to understand. I'm really trying to wrap my head around why he did not use it. I'm drawing a blank. The obvious play would have been the MST. I get someone's gonna say, well, he wouldn't have had a back row for Ice Hand then, but okay, don't think 2 steps ahead. Just think about, stop thinking macro, think micro. Get the Ryo off the field first, and then try and win. Don't think about what's gonna happen after you get the Ryo off the field, cause you haven't even gotten the Ryo off the field. Now you have a dead MST in your hand, and Thunder King Ryo is still sitting there laughing at you. And I feel like David Keener is he's just giving this game away. This is about to be the second game where he literally just loses to a Ryo. And there's nothing stopping Raymond Yu from going YOLO. When I say YOLO, I'm talking about going Vega and then Unu, which is exactly what he's going to do. Keep in mind, whatever damage he does, add 800 onto it because Cowboy's a thing. There's nothing stopping him from just saying, all right, I'm going to go YOLO and try and kill you this turn. Whatever damage that this is, because I don't know the math off the top of my head, just add 800 on top of it because Cowboy's a thing. And I'm pretty sure he's just going to lose this turn. I mean, these are just massive misplays. I know people watch my stream and think I'm terrible, but come on. I know how to play Tellar Knights. That's one thing I know how to play. Let's bring up the calculator. Well, nah, I'm not going to interrupt that. All you need to know is he just took a ton of life point damage. You see the end phase MST on the Mind Crush. But again, it just doesn't look like he has any plays here. He has 2 Necroz cycles, a Necroz of Unicorn, a Djinn, but he don't have no Colossalist, so it's what is he going to do? I mean, I think that he just loses. And he's only at 900 life points. That's why he didn't Cowboy him, because he would have still would have had life points. You see him play Necroz cycle? Pitching an Ice Hand. Oh, okay, excuse me. It was an Ice Hand in his hand. I guess not a Djinn. Pitching an Ice Hand for the Unicorn. Clearly going to want to attack over Thunder King Ryo. Okay, opts not to attack over Thunder King Ryo. Sets 1 card in his back row. He could just, I hope he knows he could just make what's a Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon and just attack over that. Or a Luminescent Knight, that's the thing too. I mean, every Tellar Knight player is gonna run one of those cards. And that is definitely a Luminescent Knight, and he just attacks over it. And it's well, I'm gonna force you to play the Valkyries, and now he can just make Cowboy and win. Yeah, now he can just make Cowboy and win, so that's also a thing. I didn't understand, well, I mean, whatever. I would have attacked the Ryo. I guess it, ultimately doesn't matter. But yeah, now he just makes Cowboy and wins. And this would have been the same thing if he would have used Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon. All he needed to do is just get him under 800 life points. And that is a GG, and I'm shocked. I don't understand some of those plays that Keener made. Why did you not MST the back row? You would have been able to get rid of the Solemn Warning. You could have attacked over Ryo. You could have gotten an Ice Hand. Don't worry about the fact that the Ice Hand wouldn't have done much. Just think about the fact that you would have gotten Ryo off the board. Ryo was obviously a problem in that matchup. And game 1, why did you commit the Gungnir to the board? It didn't accomplish anything. In fact, all it did was take away your options. Then you end up getting Raigekki'd. He gets a Ryo, he draws traps, and he ends up winning. That's how Tellar Knights want to play. Even though he didn't need traps in game 2, when he ripped the one good trap, you had the answer to it, you just didn't use it. So questionable plays, and I don't know. I think David Kinder's going to look at this match for a little while and think, I could have won about 5 different ways.